Welcome to ABC Preschool, my friends. My name is Miss Annette, and today in class, we're learning about fire safety. 5 fun facts about fire. First fact is fire is very, very hot. That's why when we stand even close to fire, we can feel all the heat come off of it. It helps make us warm, but we certainly don't want to get the fire on us. Fact number 2 is that fire needs air to breathe. And we're going to do an experiment so you can see how fire, if it doesn't have air, it goes completely out. Fact number 3 is that fire can look many different colors. So it can look red or yellow or orange. And I think those are the 3 that I use the most when I'm drawing fire or painting fire on a paper. But it can also be blue or green. And it all depends on what is burning and how hot the fire is. Fact number 4 is the sun looks like a great big ball of fire, but in fact, it's not on fire and burning. The sun is made up of a whole bunch of gases, but the sun can make us feel warm like a fire does. And fact number 5 is firefighters are heroes. They help protect us and keep us safe, tell us and teach us things that we can do to be safe from fires, and they put the fires out once they start. Let's talk about some fire safety rules. These are rules that are going to help keep you safe and your family safe. The first rule is to not play with matches or lighters. These are not toys, and so if you see these down, usually adults don't leave these down. So if you see them down, be sure and go get an adult and tell them, oh, there are some matches or there's a lighter here, and that's dangerous to have that down where children can get it. Rule number 2 has to do with if there's smoke in the house. Smoke almost always means there's fire somewhere. So that means there's a problem and you want to get out. Sometimes the smoke, there's so much smoke, it's almost hard to get out. And this rule will help save you and help save your lungs. We don't want to breathe that smoke. And smoke does a funny thing. Smoke likes to go up. And so when there's a fire somewhere, the smoke will keep trying to go up. And down close to the ground, let's pretend this is the ground. A little ways, this is the ground. And a little ways off of the ground, there'll be a place where you can get down on your hands and knees and crawl, and there'll be fresh air down here. And so a good way to remember this tip or this rule is to say, fall and crawl. Can you say those 2 words? Fall and crawl. So fall and crawl. That's where the fresher, the less smoky air is going to be until you can get out of the building. Now, rule number 3 is to go outside. In fact, we have a fun little saying that goes like this. Don't hide, go outside. Say that with me. Don't hide, go outside. Even if you're the one, and especially if you're the one that started the fire by doing something that you probably shouldn't have been doing, you don't want to hide and worry that you're going to get in trouble. You just take off and get outside. Don't hide, go outside. Number 4 is if you get fire on your clothes or on your jacket, then you do number 4. But you don't do it if you're just in the house and there's some fire somewhere else. Okay, let me tell you a little story after I tell you what this one is. It's kind of a funny story about some boys that didn't know the difference. So if you get fire on your clothes, you need to stop We don't want to take off running because then the fire is going to get bigger because it's going to get all this extra air. We want to stop, then drop down to the ground, and then you start rolling on the ground. Okay? Say it with me. Stop, drop, and roll. And you will be able to roll that fire out that's on your clothes. I once heard of two boys and they were cooking in the kitchen, and maybe they were too little to be really cooking in the kitchen because the kitchen started on fire right there at the stove. And they remembered hearing that if there's a fire, they need to stop, drop, and roll, but the fire wasn't on them. Fortunately, there was an adult in the house, and the adult got them straight out, and they got to talk about how that rule is just if the fire is on you or on somebody else, you'll tell them, stop, drop, and roll. But we don't want to get fire on us, do we? The best way is to just not even be around fire. And then rule number 5 is to call for help. Now, where I live in America, in Canada, the United States, and Mexico, we use 911 as our emergency number. 911. So you would call after you were outside, you would call 911 and tell them where you are and that what the fire situation is. Our house is on fire. Our garage is on fire. A building near our house is on fire. You would report to them, and then the firefighters would come. So 911 is my emergency number where I live. But you'll ask your adults, your parents, your grandparents, those who live near you, what your emergency number is where you live. Okay, let's talk for just a minute about that emergency number. As you know, mine is 911. You'll find out what yours is. But we never, not ever call 911 unless there is an emergency. I mean, never. Unless what? You're right. There is an emergency. We never call it unless there's an emergency. Can you remember that? I knew you could. Time for our experiment. We are going to light this little candle right here with this lighter, and then watch it burn for a second. I'm going to take this jar, and by putting this jar over it, because it touches the ground right here, it's going to make it so no more air can get in there. And once the fire burns up all that air, there's no more air in there. It uses it all up and it's not getting any new air. Then the fire should go out. All right, so that's the experiment showing us that fire really does need air. And that's why we don't run when we have fire on our clothes. All right, here we go, because we're going to give it more air. All right, so when I go camping, sometimes I'm trying to start a little campfire, and I will blow on the fire, not too much, not like blowing out candles, right, on a birthday cake, but just a little bit of extra air so that the fire can get growing and grow bigger. We're not going to do this on this experiment. We're trying to put the fire out by making it so there's no air for it. So there it is burning. Can you see that? All right, I'm going to take this, put it on top, and we're going to see how long it takes, all right, for that fire to go out. Okay, there it goes. It's still going, but it's getting smaller. I can see it's getting smaller. Can you see that? And it's out, all the way out, and there's just some smoke that comes up the top there. All right, that was 11 seconds is how long that was. So now I have a bigger jar, and I'm thinking smaller jar, less air, bigger jar, more air. Does that make sense? It sounds like it makes sense to me. Well, let's see. The experiment will tell us if it does. Let's look here at what happens and how long it takes for this bigger jar to put the fire out. All right, it's burning really good. Put it on. All right, we're timing to see how long this takes. Run out. Still going. Feels like it's going longer. I think it is. We'll take a look at the end and see and compare. Ooh, starting to get a little bit less. Still going though. This is definitely has to be longer than the small jar. Because, why? Because there's more air in this larger jar. Still going. I wonder if it could go all day. I don't know. We'll just sit here and watch. Oh, I see it getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And it's out. We should see the smoke coming up. There it is. 47 seconds. That was a lot longer. So if we had a fire that we didn't want to have burning, we would want to make sure we got the air away from it, that it couldn't get any more air, and it would put that fire out. Hello, friends. I hope you're ready to join me in a fun preschool activity. We are going to be writing numbers 1 through 10. I have 5 fire trucks on this page, 5 fire trucks on this page. Let's just talk about what these numbers are, and then we will write them together. Here on the first page, we have number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On the second page, we have 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And we are going to write each one of these numbers right here. Here we go. Let's begin. So I can see up here on the number 1, which I feel like is the easiest of all the numbers to write. Don't you think? Yeah, because it's just straight down. We have a little 1 on the 1. That's telling us to start right here, and then there's an arrow that comes down. We're going to follow that dotted line down. So here I go. I'm going to hold my favorite color, red. I chose a red crayon, but you can do whatever color you want. You could write with a pencil. You could write with a marker, whatever you want to do. So let's do it again, straight down from the top. Okay, awesome. And do you notice how I'm holding? Let's see. Let's make sure I can get this in the camera. I'm pinching. It's like I'm pinching my crayon. Can you see that? Just like that. So I have my thumb right here, my pointing finger, and then my middle finger right underneath like this. So boop, pinch it just like that. All right, now we're on to number 2. Here it tells us to start right here, come up and around and across. So that's exactly how the 2 goes, is up and around, slant down, and across. Or sometimes we would say up and around, slant down, slide to the right, because that direction going that way, that's right. Okay, number 3, here we go. Around and around. Just like that. Let's do it one more time. Around and around. And maybe you have these worksheets at home and you could join me and do it at the same time that I'm doing it. This is one of my favorites to write because start right here at number 1, straight down, slide to the right, cut him in half. Well, it's not really half, but that's what we like to say. Here we go. Let's say it together. Straight down, slide to the right, cut him in half. Just like that. Number 4. And if you're 4, that's your number. And if you're 5, this is your number. We go straight down, out and around, put on a hat. One more time. Straight down, out and around, and put on a hat. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excellent. All right. Second page. Next comes 6. Up and around, and a curly tail. Up and around, and a curly tail. The number 6. Slide to the right, slant down for number 7. Say it with me.
slide to the right, slant down. We're doing so good. Okay, this one is fun. This is the number 8. I think it's my favorite number. This one, I know sometimes children like to make it into like a snowman. They think of it as like a snowman, and they go around circle and around circle, 2 circles on top of each other, but that's not exactly the correct way to make the letter 8, the number 8. It's not letter 8, that was silly. The number 8. So this is how you're going to want to do it. You're going to go like you're making an S and bring it back home. Okay, so write an S and bring it back home. I just love the number 8. All right, number 9. Out and around, straight down. Let's do it again. Out and around. It's like we're making the letter C. And now it's like we're making the letter A, but straight down, almost like it's a Q, but it's a number 9. Out and around, straight down. And last, we have a 1 and a 0, which is like making the shape of an oval or the letter O. But when it's a number, it's a 0. And when we have a 1 and a 0 together, what number do we get? That's right, the number 10. Okay, let's do this. Let's do a little clapping activity with each one of these numbers. So I'm going to point to a number. In fact, how about if I have my crayon? My crayon will point to a number. Okay, it's pointing to the number 1, and we're going to give a clap for each, however many claps the number would be. All right. We're going to give a clap for how many? We're going to clap out that number. All right, here we go. So first one is 1. Okay, now I'm going to move over here and do this one. What's this number right here? That's right, it's number 5. So let's clap out 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excellent. All right, right here we have number 2. That's right. Now I'm going to just finger clap. Here we go. 1, 2. Down here we have the number 4. That's right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we have the number 3. I'm going to do full hand clap. 1, 2, 3. Good job. All right, second page. There's going to be more clapping on this. We have the number 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Next one, let's do this one. What is it? The number 9. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Good job. What's this one? 7. That's right. Full hand for me this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. What do we got here? 10. Can you clap and count all the way to 10? That's right. I knew you could. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then finally, my favorite number, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well done. Now, another thing you could do, if you want to, is turn your paper over. Oh, look, I can see the numbers from below. You turn your paper over and then see if you can write the numbers without even looking at this pattern like that. Just give it a try. Well done.
Join with me in this little song about fire safety. We've got some of our fire safety rules in it, and it's to the tune of the wheels on the bus. It goes like this. The firefighter says, don't play with fire, don't play with fire, don't play with fire. The firefighter says, don't play with fire, stay away from the fire. The firefighter says, fall and crawl, fall and crawl, fall and crawl. The firefighter says to fall and crawl, stay away from the fire. The firefighter says to go outside, go outside, Go outside, the firefighter says. Go outside, stay away from the fire. The firefighter says, stop, drop, and roll. Stop, drop, and roll. Stop, drop, and roll. The firefighter says to stop, drop, and roll. Stay away from the fire. The firefighter says, call 911, 911, 911. The firefighter says, call 911. Stay safe from the fire. I have had such a great day talking about fire safety with you. Can you remember at least one of those 5 fun facts about fire? This might give you some ideas. Also, I have another question. Can you remember at least one of the fire safety rules? This might give you a hint. While you're thinking about that, remember, we never call 911 just to practice or to try it out, only if there is an emergency. And most of all, remember, you are special, and there is no one in the world just like you. Until next time, bye bye.